detail anywhere they could fit it. There's reliefs and carvings, beautiful ornamentation coating the entire surface. I promise I will not make you guys sing. All right, so there's that Beaux-Arts building over there. On the left side, we have another Beaux-Arts building. It's the London Guarantee and Accident Building. It was the first insurance company in Chicago to insure boat traffic on the river. Very appropriately placed right next to the docks. At the time, the Chicago River was a working river. There was docks everywhere. There was cargo being shipped in and out. Anything you can imagine was happening here in terms of business. Now the London Guarantee and Accident Building actually serves as the London House Hotel. So it's been repurposed. The word is adaptive reuse. When a building is built for a reason and then gets changed. Instead of tearing down the entire beautiful Beaux-Arts building, you can just take out the guts of it, put in new insides, and then use it for however you need to. The last Beaux-Arts building I want to talk about right now is on the left. It has the big dome on the top and it has 4 domes on its shoulders. Those domes are actually concealing water towers. Fire suppression systems are very important in Chicago. I will tell you why later on the tour. But the Jewelers Building from 1927, it was designed to hold jewelers, to showcase their wares, to give them a place to create their jewelry. It was the first building in the entire world to have car elevators inside of it, located right here. Car elevators are great if you are a jeweler and you don't want to have to walk down the streets of Chicago with diamonds and gold and jewelry and valuables. You can drive your car into the bottom of the Jewelers Building, take it to your secured floor, and go operate directly into your offices. That's great. 1927 was very much the time of Al Capone's Chicago, so there was a great interest in having a secured way to get into your office space without having to tote your diamonds through the streets of Chicago. The State Street Bridge is currently flying high in the sky there. All our bridges in Chicago, they are operable bridges. They open up and down. This is just up for repairs currently. They're doing repairs throughout the summer here on the State Street Bridge. I'll tell you more about the bridges in a moment. But staying on the left-hand side of the boat, I'm going to do that for a while here, going down the Chicago River, looking on the south side of the river. I want to direct your attention to this brownish, blackish, grayish building with the stainless steel accents on it. That is the Leo Burnett Advertising Building. Leo Burnett Advertising is famous for such standards as the Jolly Green Giant, most recently the Mayhem Man, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Why I like that building is because I watched the show Mad Men, and Don Draper's office was based off of one of the offices in that building right there. That's in the postmodern style, that Leo Burnett Advertising Building. And now, postmodern, of course, necessitates a modern style. We'll talk about the modern style a little bit later when we get closer to our modern buildings. But right now I want to talk about postmodern. Another great example of postmodern style is 77 West Wacker. You look to the very top of this building, you'll see a pediment up there. That's meant to represent the Parthenon in ancient Greece. Ricardo Bofield, the architect of 77 Wacker, he believed that architecture could serve as theater. In fact, it should serve as theater. A relatively new and groundbreaking idea in the 80s, but the columns you see on the outside of that building are fake. They're only there as a facade, as a mask, as a work of art, as theater. Rolling backwards in time into the 1920s and early 30s, we have Art Deco. The LaSalle Wacker building with the American flag couple stories up, that's classic textbook Art Deco. You have these ribbons of limestone traveling all the way up, bringing your eye to the very top. And then between those ribbons of limestone, you have what are called spandrels. Spandrels is the word. It's the darker, ornamented, flat, recessed squares in between those ribbons of limestone. They're darker, so you focus on that bright limestone drawing your eye all the way. It's all about verticality in Art Deco. Elevator technology was getting better, so buildings should get taller and taller, and they wanted to show that off. It's also recessed back. At the time there was an ordinance in Chicago that you need to recess your building a little bit back off the street to allow air and light to filter down into the street. The Builders Building, now on the left side, was also built in the 1920s, but it complied with that ordinance in a slightly different way. Inside the Builders Building, it's actually shaped like a donut, so there's a open air center of that building that can allow light and air down into the middle. Jumping back into postmodernism, there's something that's very important feature of postmodernism that you can always identify it by, and the word is contextualism. So if you look to the top of 225 West Wacker, you're going to see 2 toothpicks up there. They're atop bridge houses, or representations of bridge houses. We have many bridge houses in Chicago. If you look to the left of our bridge right here, you can see one of them. It's where the people operate the bridge from. All the mechanical instruments are inside there to lower and raise the bridges. At the top of 225 West Wacker, we have 2 bridge houses represented, as well as a bridge connecting those 2 bridges. That is textbook contextualism. That building knows where it's at, and it's loud and proud about telling you it's on the Chicago River. It's a beautiful place to be. Perhaps the king of contextualism on the Chicago River here is 333 West Wacker, otherwise known as the New Beat Building. It's on the left here. It curves with the river. It has the same colors as the river. It has that blue and green glass on the outside of it. And if you look at the facade of this building, you can actually see the entire city reflected in the facade. Now, it's done very specifically with pinched glass. So that glass is pinched just a little bit at all the corners, so it bubbles out towards us. It's a convex glass structure. So that gives us that same exact rippling effect that you would see in the reflections on the river. Famously, the office of Ferris Bueller's father in the movie Ferris Bueller's Days Off, he's located right in that office building right there. So we have come to the confluence now. We have just spun. We're going to look forward, still on the left. Now we're on the north side of the Chicago River. I want you to look at the building on your left. It's in the style that you already know, because we talked about those spandrels, we talked about the ribbons of limestone. It is the Merchandise Mart, now known today as the Mart. You look to your right-hand side very quickly, you can see a gray box with black projectors in it. Those projectors project over the river, over the people on the boats, and they project the world's largest free projection show. You can see that show at 9 p.m. from Thursday to Sunday nights in the summer. It is fantastic. Like I said, it's free, so there's no charge to go. You can just hang out on the Riverwalk here or on the street above, on the Wacker, on the bridges. It all works. The projectors are coded very precisely to not project into a single window on the side of the merchandise mart. They only project onto those spandrels and those ribbons of limestone. Still on the left, the Chicago Cut Steakhouse is in a building called 300 North LaSalle. There's 2 reasons why you should like this building over here. Number 1 is that it's pretty. Number 2 is that it is very environmentally friendly. It takes in river water from the Chicago River, and that cold water serves to cool down the building. They use it for their air conditioning system. So much less of a carbon imprint. Before they're done with that water, they filter it, return it to the water cleaner than they ever found it. So it does a great job at being environmentally friendly. They've won many awards because of that. Still on our left, we have the Reed Murdoch Center. I'm going to give you 2 reasons you should hate the Reed Murdoch Center. Ladies and gentlemen, for the longest time, the Chicago Traffic Court was held in the Reed Murdoch Center. Feel free to boo. Number 2 is that it is unsymmetrical. If you look at the left, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 window bays. On the right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 window bays. It wasn't always like that. In 1914, when it was first erected, it was symmetrical. What happened was that the LaSalle Street Bridge was widened in accordance to Daniel Burnham's plan of Chicago. They took out some of the inside of the Reed Murdoch Center, further away, and then shoved that western branch back on, thereby making the Reed Murdoch Center uneven. Like I said, I've spent my entire life living in Chicago. I know its neighborhoods very well. I live in Wicker Park, which is just a short commute for me. If I ever move out of Wicker Park, I want to move into this building right here. This is Marina City. It is the 2 enormous corn cobs looming up out of the soil in Chicago. It's architect Bertrand Goldberg. He wanted people to live in cities. He thought it was important that people could actually live in cities and enjoy their time in a city. So what he did is he included all the amenities you could possibly want in his design. So inside here, there's plenty of restaurants. If you have a boat, you can park your boat at the bottom. There's valet parking. There's dentist offices. There are barber shops. There are doctor offices. The House of Blues is conveniently located directly behind Marina City. So you have built-in entertainment as well. At one point in time, they actually had an outdoor ice skating rink. So he was famous for saying that there are no right angles in nature, so there won't be any in my buildings. He studied in Chicago. As a Chicago architect, he studied under a man named Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, a man with 5 great names and an even greater reputation. He's a man that made the former IBM building known as AMA Plaza today. This is the modern style that I referenced earlier. Now, Mies van der Rohe believed that less is more. He didn't want any ornamentation on his buildings. He stripped it all off. This was a monumental change at the time in the 40s and the 50s. We're going from that Beaux-Arts style, all that ornamentation, to this. almost nothing on the building. Less is more, right? His critics believe that less is a bore. So some people like this style, some people don't, but it's meant to show off mathematical precision. It's meant to show off the building materials that he designed with. Repetition is a common theme in all of his buildings. So on our left still we have Trump Tower, the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Its designer and architect Adrian Smith is another Chicago architect that we hold very close to us. He has a great reputation. He designed this tower in the early 2000s. It was supposed to be the largest tower in the entire world. Right after the events of September 11th, 2001, designs were scaled back. Nobody really wanted to have a large target on our skyline, so they shrunk back down the design. Adrian Smith is also the designer of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. So if you look at Trump Tower, you can kind of see some similarities. You have this leafing design that shrinks up as it gets to the point at the very top. You have that polished stainless steel and that blue tinted glass. You have this outrigger design with the left and the right being wider than at the top. So we're still proud of Adrian Smith. Even though the tallest building in the world isn't Chicago, in Chicago, it was designed in Chicago. Adrian Smith's office is located here in Chicago, back home. The Tribune Tower is on our left side. It has some rainbow lights at the top and an American flag flying proudly above it. Tribune Tower is awesome. It is clearly beautiful, and that's the intent. The owner of the Chicago Tribune, Robert McCormick, launched an international design competition. He wanted the most beautiful office building in the world. There was hundreds of applicants from all over the world. Howells and Hood were the people out of New York that were lucky enough to design a jewel of the Chicago skyline. And what you see